Yogi Ramsuratkumar Ashram. After this Divya Nama Sankirtan of our Bhagwan, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, a great blessing from him that we are able to sing together. Today, the organizer of this program called me and said that the total number of namas that we sing together has come approximately to some 4.5 crores. For the past 5 months we have been singing together, and looking at the number of people singing together with us, and later the views approximately, imagine how much the divine Shakti has been roused, invoked. How could this be a waste? This must be doing its transforming work upon the world. What a blessing. We have also been going through some experiences of the devotees which depict the gracious nature of Bhagwan, how he truly rushes to help, guide and protect his devotees at the mere calling out. We shall see a few more and relive the experiences of those devotees, which in turn would invoke a huge grace upon us. Srimati Vijaya Ramanathan has a beautiful voice. She used to sing in front of Bhagwan. Bhagwan would ask her to sing the songs of Shri Devan Sharma, sung by Vijaya. She has a voice in tune with that. Sung by Vijaya. She has a voice in tune with that. She has been going from place to place, singing devotional songs, mostly on Bhagwan, and sometimes the other programs as well, all devotional songs. Once she was called to a temple in Chennai. It's Guruvayurappan Temple. And before she left for singing, she prayed to Bhagwan Yogi Ramsuratkumar to come in some form or the other and bless her while singing. And she was looking forward to seeing him. And after she ascended the dais, she started to sing. Soon, an old man with a beard, with a long stick in hand, and a somewhat old vessel in hand for begging. He appeared there. vessel in hand for begging. He appeared there. What was more, she soon found him seated in the front row. Somehow, the eyes. This man looked very ordinary, wearing dirty clothes, but the way he looked, and whenever her eyes met his, she felt something, some sensation in the body. And somehow she began to think it was Bhagwan come in that form. And she started, her focus became this man. And as she was singing, she was watching this man, how this old man was enjoying the songs, whether he was enjoying it and how. And then suddenly she found him gone. Then she sang immediately a song on Krishna. Even if you go and hide yourself somewhere, I would still come after you, I would still call out to you. I would find you. Please come back. So she started to sing, and soon she found this old man once again seated there. She was very, very happy. She continued to sing. Then just before, she was honored. So naturally she was engaged in that, and they were honoring her. She turned to find him gone. And then she began to ask everybody around, did you see the man in dirty clothes with a stick in hand and a vessel for begging, an old vessel for begging? He was seated in the first row. People were surprised. Even the accompanying artists said they did not see anybody like that, especially seated in the first row. How could they have missed him? They said, no such person came. We have not seen him. And then she asked the organizers, and they said, a man in dirty clothes with a stick in hand, looking like a beggar, they are not allowed up till this. He could not have possibly be seated there. What are you saying? He could not have come. Even if he had come, he could not be seated in the first row. No, there was no such man. And then suddenly she understood it was Bhagwan, and only she could see him, and no other could. She became very, very happy. But after that, again in the corner of her mind, some doubt persisted. People are saying that they have not seen. Maybe it was an illusion, some hallucination. What is it? Did I really see him? Did he really come there, Bhagwan? Whenever she thought he had come, she became very happy, and suddenly this doubt would spoil everything. And then she heard a story of Paramacharya. I believe once the famous singer, the world famous, well-reputed singer, Srimati M.S. Subbulakshmi, in India and also in many, many countries, very few people who do not know her. She used to sing very beautifully, and she was also very devoted to Paramacharya. At one time, there were some financial difficulties she was going through and was suffering. Coming to know about this, Shri Paramacharya sent word, a telegram, to Tirupati Devasthanam, the temple authorities of Tirupati Balaji, saying that she should be helped financially. It should not be a loan, nor should it be a gift to her, but somehow she should be helped financially. So some people in Tirupati Devasthanam were devoted to Paramacharya, took it upon themselves to immediately fulfill Shri Paramacharya's wish. But then they were at a loss to know how to settle this. It should not be a gift, nor should it be a loan. So how do we go about it? After much thinking, they finally came to the conclusion that they would go approach Paramacharya himself and know his mind. So as they were coming down the hill, the downhill, one of them was Shri Srinivasan. So as they were coming down the hill, the downhill, one of them was Shri Srinivasan. This Srinivasan saw a scene. Those people, the tribes of the hill, they were there singing Annamacharya Kirtan. That was a particular devotional Carnatic music sung by a reputed Carnatic musician, Annamacharya, a great bhakta. And they were singing and dancing. They were only tribes. The tribes of the hill were singing and dancing to the tunes of Shri Annamacharya. And immediately a thought came to Srinivasan, oh, this is it. These people are all singing Annamacharya. Annamacharya had not yet become as reputed as he should have been. He deserved this kind of reputation for which there was no proper spreading of his kirtanas. So suddenly it struck him that he should, these people, Devasthanam people, the temple authorities, must call this great musician, Srimati M.S. Subbulakshmi, to sing Annamacharya songs. It was only a passing thought, but he wanted to find out from Paramacharya himself what his idea was behind this telegram. So as soon as he arrived at Paramacharya's door, Paramacharya smiled and asked him, did you see anything on the way? He was surprised and not surprised also, because it was very usual. Paramacharya would know everything. So it's not surprising that he knew what he saw. He said, yes, Periva, I saw some tribes, the hill tribes, singing and dancing to Annamacharya Kirtans. Oh, you did? Okay, what did you think? Then he said, perhaps we should call Srimati M.S. Subbulakshmi to sing those songs, because those songs should become popular. They must be given due attention, which they deserve. Paramacharya applauded, appreciated this thought of his and said, go right ahead. It is when this conversation was going on, the friend who accompanied Srinivasan thought it was a great surprise to him that Srinivasan saw these hill tribes singing and dancing to Annamacharya songs. He was thinking, what is this? I was coming with him, I was seated with him all the time. I did not get to see any such thing. How did he see it? There was nobody around. People, the hill tribes particularly, singing and dancing. How is that? I did not get to see that. And when he expressed it, when he voiced it out to Paramacharya smiled and said again, yes, only he could see that. It would be so. When someone is entrusted with a work, they would get to know or see that which is related, important for that work. Only they could see it. If others could not see it, it's quite possible that they could not see it. It's okay. But those who are related to the work, those who have to organize the work, they will get to see these special scenes for the divine work they are entrusted with. So it's not surprising that you did not see it. It's not surprising that he saw it. So as soon as Mrs. Vijaya Ramanathan heard it, she understood that Bhagwan had come there, given darshan only to her, because she prayed to him particularly to come and give darshan, that she should see him in some form or the other. Please come in some form and bless me. She became very happy because this was an assurance from Bhagwan that I did come and you did see me. And it's not surprising if others don't get to see. Bhagwan also had said several times, not only this, even in dreams, if Bhagwan should appear in dreams, Bhagwan would have declared that it was no dream. Sometimes he could not come to people physically to get certain things done. Then he would appear on the subtle level in dreams. And that is no less truth. This she spoke in one of the functions as her experience, and soon after that, Shri Hari Om Ramaswamy. People call him Ganga Ramaswamy also. He has many interesting experiences to his credit. He started to describe a very interesting one. He said he had adopted a child by name Shakti, and Shakti got married, and Shivadas was born to him. His grandson, Shivadasan, was studying in school, and Shri Hari Om Ramaswamy wanted to imbibe this faith in Bhagwan, in the child Shivadas. He tried his best, but Shivadasan would not get drawn to Bhagwan. But then in the school, maybe among the fellow classmates, there was somebody with great faith in Shirdi Baba, and he must have had a photograph also. So somehow Shivadasan came to believe that Baba was great. Shirdi Baba was great, so he had some respect for Shirdi Baba, but otherwise he did not have any faith in Yogi Ramsuratkumar. Shri Ramaswamy was very upset about it, but still what could he do? So when this boy said he had only faith in Shirdi Baba, he gave a small photograph to him. On the one side was Shirdi Baba, on the other side was Yogi Ramsuratkumar. Now this boy had done his BCom. He was very intelligent, studied so well. He got 3 centums out of 4 subjects. He also studied Sanskrit very well. And after BCom, he wanted to do his MBA, Master in Business Administration. He had applied to big colleges in Mumbai, Bangalore, Trichy. But to his great disappointment and dismay, he did not get a seat anywhere in those colleges. The boy was a little upset about it, but then he had no other go. And then he thought he would go to Loyola College, Chennai, because he had applied there also. He was hoping that he would get selected in the list there, and he wanted to see. So he took a bus. Shri Ramaswamy says it is 29C. The boy took a bus. He was travelling in the bus. And when the bus stopped somewhere near Raipeta, Anjaneya's temple, an old man boarded the bus. He was wearing dirty clothes, with a beard. He came exactly to the spot where this boy was seated, and then he seated himself next to him. Seeing his dirty clothes and the way he looked like a beggar, this boy was a little disgusted. He said, "Don't come near me. You look so dirty. Don't come near me. Don't touch me." But the old man didn't bother with his comment at all. He smiled and said, "You have done your BCom." How did he know? But he didn't strike this boy that this man knew about it. All he was bothered about was this beggar, this dirty beggar, should not come anywhere near him. And now he got even more wild because this man was asking questions. He said, "What is it to you? If I have done BCom or not, what is it to you? You keep quiet." But again, the old beggar did not mind at all. He pushed ahead. He said, "You have applied for MBA?" Again, this boy was irritated. He said, "What is it to you? Why are you flooding me with questions? You're only a passenger like me. You mind your own business. You don't interfere." But this old man did not mind the rebuff at all. He was not put off by it. Instead, he smiled once again and said, "You will get a seat." And then the bus was still running. From the running bus, he simply disappeared. He got down somewhere. How he got down when the bus was still running? It like smoke getting out. He got out somehow from the running bus. Of course, it did not strike this boy as something unusual. He was completely lost in his own worries, thoughts. He never gave a thought to this old man. When he reached the college, he found the list had not come out yet. But the next day, when the list came, he had got the seat. And then, and only then, he remembered this dirty old man who came and sat next to him, unmindful of the rebuffs that he gave. He assured with a smile, "You will get a seat." It is then that it struck him, how did he know that I had done my BCom? And how did he know that I had applied for MBA? And despite my distancing him every time he put a question, despite my irritation with him, he only smiled and said, "Oh, you will get a seat," as though he was blessing me. And suddenly, in a flash, he knew it was none other than the dirty beggar, Bhagwan, Yogi Ramsuratkumar. And then something happened to him. He went through a change. He was shaken by the experience. This boy, at about 8 o'clock the day he got the result that he was chosen, he was selected by Loyola College. About 8 o'clock in the night, he came and sat by the side of his grandfather, Hari Om Ramaswamy. Because the grandfather was very worried. He would not allow himself to have faith in Bhagwan. It was probably his devotion that did this trick, that Bhagwan had come in person and blessed him. Now this boy, suddenly there was a rush and the tears welled up. He began to sob. He was crying so much, saying, Tata, Grandpa, Swami had come. He came and sat next to me and he put questions to me and he blessed me in the end, despite my irritation, despite my rebuff. He only blessed me with a smile and left. And then it was his turn, Ramaswamy's turn, to smile and say, oh, now we have developed faith. And then the boy nodded. Was not able to speak, but he nodded his head. He was quite shaken by the experience. This is how Bhagwan comes and takes over devotees, overwhelms them. And then a deep-seated faith develops. And Shri Ramaswamy went on to say that for so long, for so many years, 15 years, they had wanted to build a temple for Yogi Ramsuratkumar Bhagwan and they could not bring themselves to do it. For some reason or the other, it just didn't happen. And then suddenly, one poor man, he was not particularly rich or anything, and he came and expressed a wish that they should build a temple. And of course, Shri Ramaswamy said, okay, we have to do it. And then one day, all of a sudden, this man turned up and said, I have 9 lakhs with me now. And I want to build a temple for Yogi Ramsuratkumar. A very small place. There is near Tiruvallur, there was a structure for 5 sanctums, for 5 deities, Lord Shiva and Divine Mother and Shirdi Baba, like 5 shrines. And just outside that, this man had 3/4 of ground space. And then this man said, half of that ground is for me and half only for Bhagwan Yogi Ramsuratkumar. And in that small place, I want to build a temple. And he started to build. He built a temple. A man with no money. And as soon as the thought came that he wanted to build a temple, somehow he got the money and half of his ground he gave for the temple of Bhagwan. So all this, everything, right from the beginning till the end, everything is pure grace. And then after him, there was one Rajathi, Srimati Rajathi. She spoke and she said she was very poor with daughter and grandsons, so much poverty and so much debt that at one point the whole family found it difficult to survive. With the result, they thought all of them together would commit suicide. They had gone to that extent. Such was the suffering. Severe, intense. They could no more bear life. There was no meaning in life. And at that time, her friend, Rajathi's friend, one Bhuvaneshwari, a devotee of Bhagwan Yogi Ramsuratkumar. She used to come, she had visited Bhagwan in Sannadhi Street house, and she would also visit the ashram several times. She has come and stayed here in the ashram. That Bhuvaneshwari gave her a small picture of Bhagwan and said, you keep it, you chant his name, you worship him, and see what happens. All your troubles would come to an end. And true to that, and what was more, this Bhuvaneshwari would take her. There was a postal colony in Chennai, there used to be satsang. So for every satsang, she would take Rajathi also there. And then after Rajathi began to chant the name of Bhagwan, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, it became a lifeline for this drowning lady. And she said she began to feel a new life, a new strength, a new hope, a new faith. And slowly, within 6 months, she was able to pay back all the debts. And they began to live a decent life. And then she said one day, when she was going, she was working as a housekeeper in some place. She had to work and earn money somehow. And when she was crossing a road, a two-wheeler came and hit her. And she was just thrown up high in the air, and she landed on a platform. She was hurt all over the body. The blood began to ooze. She lost her consciousness, and somebody rushed her to the hospital and then brought her home. Then Bhuvaneshwari, her friend, came and then took her. When the doctor was examining her, she had to go through a scan because there could be more wound inside. They did not know about it. So when she was seated there, she was chanting the Nama again. The Nama was constantly going on in her. And then she saw a butterfly in this room. Very unusual, a butterfly to enter there. But it was there, and she knew her Bhagwan had come. It was a blessing from Bhagwan, and everything was going to be all right. And the scan result came, and there was no inner wound. She says at every level how Bhagwan came and helped her, rescued her. And she was saying once her daughter had lighted the stove, the gas stove, kept it in sim. She reduced the flame, but she did not switch it off. And then she locked the house. Forgetting all that, she locked the house and went out. Imagine a gas stove burning and the house was locked. Somehow, by Bhagwan's grace, because Rajathi was chanting the name all the time, even none of them were there, Bhuvaneshwari happened to come there, and she saw the smoke. She opened the house was full of smoke. So she arrived in right time, and what could have been a major accident, the houses could have been burnt. Not only this house, all the neighboring houses. It could have been a fire accident, a major fire accident. It was averted by Bhuvaneshwari's coming in time. But who made her come? Why would she come? It was no time for her to come. But she appeared all of a sudden there. So she says, Rajathi says, you have this Nama, a great gift from God, Yogi Ramsuratkumar. What more do you need in life? Even when she was hit and hurt all over the body, she was saying, Bhagwan, I must have done something to deserve this suffering. I must have spoken harshly to somebody, or I must have done some mistake. It is my own karma that had brought this down on me. But because I was chanting your name, you saved my life. See, they are words of wisdom, because generally when we land in trouble, we always think that it is Bhagwan, Yogi Ramsuratkumar had given us this trouble. In fact, many people would write to Bhagwan saying that, why are you doing this to us? Why are you testing us like this? You are giving us suffering after suffering. And Bhagwan would be very pained by this accusation. And he would say, what are these people saying? They don't understand that a beggar like this comes only to help them. Their sufferings are their own. They are suffering because of their past karmas. And beggars like this come only to alleviate the suffering. They don't understand. Instead, they accuse us and create more karmas. So you see, it's a lesson for all of us. We would often land in trouble because of our past karmas, but they are our own karmas, our own problems. And the mere calling out, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, he only helps us, he protects us, he guides us. So we should never blame Bhagwan for anything, and know that it is his Nama, it is he who is the Savior, the saving grace of our life. Now that Bhagwan is here, right in front of us. With his hand raised in benediction, let us appeal to his boundless grace, generosity,